What truly amazes and saddens me after all these years is how many of the problems we see center around parents making youth sports unpleasant for young athletes, coaches, officials, and fans. I've recently partnered with a nonprofit company that prioritizes what is really important in youth sports: kids, conduct at games, and coach education. It's time for a change. Check out trustedcoaches.org.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids. Coaches may have the biggest impact on a young person's life. Unfortunately, youth sports are littered with coaches that are focused on the wrong things. That's why it's so important that parents can trust who's coaching their kids. Can you trust your child's youth coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to utilize trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Go to trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
WGSX New Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. Rise and shine, campers. It's a brand new day.
What a lovely morning.
Good morning, starshine.
You seem happy this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in early.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local. Live from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hot tub! Woo! Say hot tub! Yeah! Get on in! Well, indeed. Thursday morning here in beautiful Bay County. Not quite as chilly as it was yesterday, but still a nice feel to the morning. Hope you're doing well this morning. Hope your morning drive is not too crazy. Watch out for people driving a little too fast in white trucks out there. Bay County kind of looked like a Georgia football spring practice out there this morning with people trying to get to work this morning.
Get to the station on time, aren't we, Randy?
I'm telling you.
I made it, didn't I?
Hey, what was the thing in NASCAR a couple of years ago where the guy ran it up against the wall to make sure he qualified? And that's kind of what it looked like there, but it was outstanding. But you're right, you made it. Well, Brian Haddad sitting in again for Coach Hale, who is down there feeding Mickey Mouse, but we'll hold down the fort this week. He should be back on Monday and joined on Thursday by Jeremy Pridgeon. Jeremy, how we doing?
Doing well, Brian. Good to see you. It's been a little while, so
yeah,
doing well, and everything's good. Having a good spring of the year so far.
Absolutely. So, how things going over at the church? I know you had a busy couple of weeks ago.
Busy couple of weeks at Easter there, and it just takes so many volunteers, and it's a team effort to pull off 11 services in 8 days.
My goodness gracious!
But we had a really good one, and still, trucking on here. A lot of the year-end stuff's beginning to happen. We were talking about that even the other day in staff. Our graduate recognition's coming up soon, and we've got, I think, 14 that are getting ready to leave. And, so as you can kind of feel, we're moving to postseason and the spring playoffs, for baseball, softball, and such. Same thing with the church, kind of have that year in, because there's so much of the year regardless, that's driven by the school calendar.
Absolutely.
And then you get vacation, Bible school, and those things, but everybody tries to hold it together through the summer until we get going again in August.
Absolutely. I know it was a great time there at First United Methodist Church.
Yes.
And I have to tell you this, running the risk of, very moderate level of sacrilege here. I happened to be in the airport on Easter Sunday.
Oh.
And I can tell you, I might have had more people praying in the airport than you had in church, because we kept getting delayed. And there were some short connections going on there. So I heard a lot of praying on Easter Sunday.
It's been rough out there at the airports.
Yeah, it was
really
good.
nasty.
It was one of those, it was a weather thing in between kind of us in the Midwest that just kind of delayed some flights getting in. But
and once you start snarling at one place, it just the whole thing.
See, that's the thing. Every time people hear about delays now, they think, well, it's the TSA thing or it's whatever. And the real problem is, like anything else in life, is we always push things to the absolute nth degree to where it'll work fine if everything goes right. Mm-hmm. And when you push things that close, as soon as one little thing goes wrong, it just cascades out. And that's what
Pilots
got
are
me
behind,
right.
Planes are behind.
That's what got me about a month ago when we had talked about with Hale the trouble I had getting back here, and I think Tommy had even had trouble traveling like that, and it was kind of the same thing. Now I was fortunate; it was early enough. I was able to push some connections back and got to get out west, just fine. But it, like I said, there were a few people that were continuing their Easter services just at the airport there, but it was a good time. I'm glad to hear it went really well at the church.
Really did.
That's outstanding. Well, we have a great show lined up for you today. Of course, in the next segment, we're going to talk to Mosley head baseball coach and athletic director Doug Lee. Talk about a tough one they had the other night there, but golly, that might be the toughest district I've seen that's out there between Childs and Lincoln, and it's unbelievable. 'Cause, I mean, Childs is the last team that beat South Walton.
Yeah.
Who we know is so good. So we'll talk to him about what that means going forward for the Mosley Dolphins. Of course, we'll have our FSU update at 7:45. We're going to talk a little Alabama at 8 o'clock, and at 8:15 we're going to talk Auburn Tigers, of course, and everything in between. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call or text us at 215-6290. That is 215-6290. Well, let me get into a few local things, and actually I think, Jeremy, you have a few that I missed as well. Let me start with softball. We did have one result there. South Walton got past Mosley 15-3 in girls softball, so big win for South Walton. It's not just the baseball they can hit. Apparently they can hit the softball as well. So congratulations to them. Over on the sand, beach volleyball, the Arnold Marlins got a hold of Bluntstown there, 3-2. Nice win for the Arnold Marlins. Arnold does have another game coming up here. I think Bluntstown, I think that was their last game before seedings come out for the tournament, so they're kind of waiting to see where they may be seeded. And then I did see a nice little story. I think WMBB had it. With Mosley is set to play Childs in flag football. It's the 3A District 2 tournament that's going on. The amazing thing there is it's a 4-team district. Mosley is 6-3 on the year, and they're the 4 seed.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about a loaded district. Childs been playing a little bit longer. Obviously, our schools are a little bit newer to this, certainly. Yeah. But, they've had a great season. It should be a lot of fun. So, congratulations on the season, and good luck to the girls headed over to play Childs in the district tournament here. And you had a couple of baseball scores.
You mentioned the beach volleyball.
Or beach volleyball.
I've got a 9th grader playing out at Mosley. They finished their regular season up against Bay, and now, as you mentioned, they're getting close to district tournament next week. Have to get all the pairings and run the formulas, whatever those are, to figure this out. But baseball district tournaments are continuing in the rural classification. They're playing all the games down in Port St. Joe in Rural 4.
Okay.
Weewell, Hitchcock, and Bluntstown played last night, but the Tigers got the Gators, and so they're going to advance to play Port St. Joe, who's the host team. So the Sharks and Tigers renew an old rivalry in the winter. There will be the Rural 4 district champion in Rural 3. You've got Sneeds and Cottondale that are going to play, and that game will be tomorrow night as well. And then in Rural 2, which is kind of the last of the rural districts in our area, because the first one is more toward Jay and Pace, or that part. You've got two old rivals getting together again, Chipley and Holmes County, and that game will be, according to the site here, Holmes County. You mentioned Mosley. They bowed out round 1, surprisingly, shockingly, to Lincoln. We'll talk more to Doug about that. But here, local as well, we've got Bay and Rutherford for a district championship. So in the county, so we'll have.
I spent the last 2 days trying to get each coach to trash talk the other one, and they would not take the bait.
Would not do it. Just, got good programs, good teams.
But the one thing we all agreed on is Bay Rutherford just seems special always. I mean, it's the county rivalry, and that That's what a championship should be. And so I love the fact, nothing against North Bay Haven. I would have loved it if they'd have got there as well. But Bay versus Rutherford just seems like a district championship match.
And Wakulla did take care of Rickards very easily, so that sets up for Wakulla and Arnold in the district championship there. So local
that
teams
one I believe is on Friday.
I think that's right there. So local teams are poised, positioned well to win some district championships, and then, of course, still got the regional tournaments to be decided.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we talked with Coach Jones on Monday, and it was a weird situation there where they actually had a bye because their Godby had to bow out because of injuries and just not having enough players. So Arnold hasn't played for a while.
There was a situation like that with the way the MLB works, and I can remember, I think it was the Dodgers. They were set up to miss that wild card round and the first, all the things they do now. And they just played inter squad and set it up and opened the doors and tried to keep the live simulation.
Well, they got to pay that $1 billion salary they have.
Yes, but it does point to something about baseball where it really is a rhythm game.
It is. The funny thing is, and we talked to the coaches about this earlier in the week when it comes to that is, we talked over the last couple of weeks, might even have been when you and I were together one time, in football. We've seen the teams that had the bye are 1-7 in 2 years. In basketball, a lot of the conference tournaments, these teams that get the double bye really struggle. Coming out of the gate, and a lot of times they were going out early. Baseball would be the one sport where I agree it's such a rhythm game. You want the momentum, but it might be the one game where there is at least the benefit of resting an arm or two.
Yes.
Especially if you're about to go into a compressed tournament setting. The FHSAA actually does a decent job of spreading that out. I know it tasted funny saying the FHSA did a decent job, but I do think they do. It might be spread out too far.
Well, and then it condenses when you get to the state.
That's the other thing that's tough.
And I get lodging and keeping them there and all that, but there have been times you play one game a week and then go play back-to-back days.
And you're trying to win a championship, and this is forever, for a lot of these kids. So there were a couple other matchups I wanted to get to that are tonight. Bozeman plays Freeport. Freeport got past Destin. And then South Walton plays West Florida. West Florida, a good team, unfortunately running up against the juggernaut that is South Walton.
Yes.
But, Coach Nick not looking past this one, I guarantee you. They want to make sure that they've got everything lined up. They're going to be hosting going forward. That's the way they want to do it.
This looks like a fun few weeks coming up here.
I'm telling you.
Some teams that have some real legitimate shots to make a run.
And then the silly season starts where we got to wait things out and see. You win and you're in, but after that, there's still a chance we could get a lot of teams going on, but you certainly don't want to put it in anyone's hands other than your own.
Well, you look at the rankings. You mentioned the district that Mosley's in. Childs is number 6 in the overall. Mosley's number 22 in the overall. They're just Niceville's always hanging out there. Bozeman's 41 overall. It speaks to the talent level across the Panhandle. And
an ironic thing, yesterday when we talked to Coach Hudson, we said, well, are you guys in a position to where if you lose this game that you move on? He goes, I don't know, because they still consider strength of schedule. And what is so unfortunate at the district level, you don't get to choose who you're playing at the district. At the district level. And Bay was, and nothing against them, but Gadsden County, they're very young. They don't have a great baseball team. Bay beat them 27-0. That actually will hurt Bay. Going forward. And that seems very unfortunate that at that level where you have no control over who you play. And I think Coach Hudson said it hurt them last year. When they got into the district, that they actually were dropping back places. So,
and at least in the formula format, you're not required to play those district games. You can go schedule who you want, where you want, but you have teams that are seeing each other for the first time in the district.
We talked to Coach Nick about that Monday. It was odd. He hasn't played anybody in his district this year, and you think he opened with Walton, South Walton, huge rivalry. They haven't played in a couple of years.
Right.
It was. He said it was just great, but there are some other situations just like that where these teams have not played, and in a way, it kind of, you're like, you would think you'd play your district opponents, but then in a way, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, you just kind of see the folks show up. But And look, some of our districts up here are sprawling. I mean,
oh my goodness, yeah.
Next year, Mosley and I know some of the local teams here were all sent east to Tallahassee. Do you want to make multiple trips to Tallahassee over the course of the year when you can schedule around here much closer?
Yeah,
cost, travel, competition level, all those things. So.
Absolutely. One last little thing I wanted to get to locally because I didn't get into it yesterday. Gulf Coast State College basketball coach Lane Below is actually leaving after just a tremendous 2 seasons with the Commodores, 51-18 in 2 years. Did a great job. Got him the national tournament this year. He's actually leaving for an assistant job, Division I Florida International, which you certainly understand. That's kind of the downside of JUCO or smaller colleges too. It's just kind of the stepping stone, as you will, and you appreciate what they did. You'd certainly love to be able to hang on to these guys forever, but it's the nature of the beast. And we wish Coach well, and hopefully they'll build off of this success and go out and get the next coach and continue to drive forward at Gulf Coast. So I just did want to mention that because Coach did a wonderful, wonderful job with Gulf Coast there, and good luck to him as he heads down south. Well, let's talk about J. Michael's Restaurant. They were packed out yesterday for Spaghetti Day. And look, it's always a great day at J. Michael's Restaurant. Best seafood, coldest beer you're going to find anywhere in Bay County is at J. Michael's Restaurant. Tell them you heard about it right here, and maybe Glenn will pick up your bill if you're lucky. TK Vandy, Roofing and Contracting, Kyle Vandergrift, and the crew do a absolutely wonderful job. You have any roofing needs, general contracting needs, if you can dream it, they can build it at TK Vandy Roofing. I was hoping we'd have Kyle in here. He's not quite back yet. They're actually down in Disney as well. I think he's playing dad this week. But Kyle should be back in here soon. We love having him on the show. But make sure you call TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting. And David Adamson Fine Jewelry up in Lynn Haven. Russ and Amber, you want to get some jewelry. You want to sell your gold and silver. You get up and see the experts at David Adamson Fine Jewelry. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mosley coach Doug Lee. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you tired of little radio stations with little signals that drop off at the edge of town?
He did say...
Well, bless their hearts. This is the most powerful sports signal in the Panhandle. You found the Sports Talk Monster. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight, a calm wind and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog in the morning and then sunshine. Partly sunny Saturday and hot around 78. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves Morning Update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves take the series from the Marlins. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
Tidal Wave Auto Spa is the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and your go-to car wash destination all season long. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location nearest you.
The Braves pound out 6 runs on 11 hits. Ozzie Albies goes deep to get the scoring started. Austin Riley, his first home run of the season, was pressing a little bit, but a 400-foot laser over the left field wall. Matt Olson, about 440 feet the other direction into the chop house. Braves pound out 3 home runs, and they beat the Marlins. Now they're 4-0 in rubber games this season. Big game Bryce at it again, 5 2/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Man, since the beginning of September last year, Bryce Bryce Elder has been on his game. Braves are off today. They'll travel to Philadelphia to take on the NL East rival Phillies. Taijuan Walker going for the Phils. The 33-year-old is 1-2, has a 7.36 ERA, 7 walks, 12 strikeouts, and a 191 whip. Opponents hitting a nice 333 against the veteran Walker. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts his last time out over the Diamondbacks. Braves, Phillies, Game 1 coming up tomorrow on the Braves Radio Network.
Are you tired of little radio stations with little signals that drop off at the edge of town?
He did say.
Oh, bless their hearts. This is the most powerful sports signal in the Panhandle. You found the Sports Talk Monster. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show on a Thursday morning. Hopefully you got all your taxes squared away yesterday. I know it's such a fun day for everybody doing those, but hopefully that's behind us now and we can move forward into more fun things. And what's more fun than talking to the man himself, Mosley Dolphin baseball coach Doug Lee. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I appreciate y'all having me this morning.
Absolutely. And you know, we were talking about it earlier. Tough one there with Lincoln earlier in the week. I guess just real quick before we get into that one, we did have a couple games toward the end of last week since the last time we talked to you. If you could catch us up to speed on those, and then we'll get into the district play.
Yeah, I think, well, we played Thursday night at Bozeman after talking to you Thursday morning, and we had a good victory here at home. We went to their place, and it was their night, and they ended up beating us 10-5. And they had Flitcraft had a great night on the mound against us, and you know, it was just their night. And then we finished our regular season out on Friday here at Dothan, and came away with a 5-1 win. I think 6-2, something like that. And anyway, finished our regular season on a high note, and got a really good outing from Brady Lee on the mound, and so I was able to close it out. And then, you know, like I said, Tuesday, district play started.
Yeah, so, you know, it was interesting when I was looking at the brackets on Monday released, and I was kind of looking through, you know, the strength of some of the districts. Good gracious. I mean, your district is absolutely loaded, you know, with talent. Even the ones who maybe didn't have the best records, you know, they have a ton of talent out there. You know, talk about that a little bit, and then, you know, the game with Lincoln coming over to town on Tuesday.
Well, and it, you know, our district is very tough. You know, Child's ranked 1, and Lincoln, I think they're currently ranked 8th in our region. And you know, Lincoln's record, as I said last week, is very deceiving. I mean, they have played a who's who schedule. They've played the Yankees and the Red Sox and everybody else out there. So, I mean, they've really played everybody. Coach Gauger's been in a long time. Him and Matt Robinson, who used to be the head coach of Lincoln, helps him. And, you know, they've prepared their team really for postseason and played a really tough schedule. So we knew our hands would be full. And but, you know, we got down early. We fought and clawed back to tie it and really just came up a little short. And, you know, as they say, the clock ran out. Well, we just ran out of innings, you know. So,
yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those things, Coach, where obviously, you know, you kind of want to control your own destiny by winning out like that. But, you know, with this whole system of rankings and everything like that, you know, I don't know that it necessarily means the door's closed on the season, or does it? Kind of walk us through that process of what it may look like for you.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of conversation. I've talked to a lot of baseball coaches, really basketball coaches, all the things. The way it's set up now with rankings, you know, in the grand scheme of things, what does a district tournament really do, or what's the purpose of it? Now, you know, if you're the 4th or 5th seed and you're lucky enough to pull one off and win the district championship, now that's huge for a 4th or 5th seed. But the likelihood of that happening, you know, I'm sure it does happen somewhere, but it doesn't happen very often. So, in the grand scheme of things, as far as Mosley is concerned, I think our whole body of work through the season has put us in a good position. Anytime you're playing for a trophy, obviously, you want to win, and that's kind of what we've emphasized with our guys. But at the grand scheme of things, all our other goals are in front of us. I think that game is really good as far as preparing you for the playoff, because it was a playoff-type atmosphere and a setting. And, sometimes coming off, on the short end of it, there's a lot more lessons to learn, and you're willing to learn those lessons because when you win, it's kind of hard for you to go through mistakes and then really believe it really hurt us. So I think it's one of those games we can take advantage of, learn some of the lessons we can learn from that one and move forward, and that's what we're doing. And and this team has played hard all year long, and so I expect nothing less, and we've kind of treated the rest of this week as a bye week in football. We practiced yesterday, had a light one yesterday. We're going to enter squad today just like we were ready to play. Hoping to play today, and so then give them off this weekend, and we'll have 4 days to prepare for the state playoffs starting next Friday.
And Doug, I think the best analogy here I can think of is kind of the NCAA conference tournaments where you get these seeds that are sort of locked in the big field like you are here, but it is that lesser seed that can come and steal a bid, so to speak.
Right.
But you're kind of hoping now that everybody's supposed to win, and but it is kind of this waiting game, and the single elimination round for 4A through 7A, it does take place next Friday.
Right.
When have you had a 10-day layoff in terms of your season this year at all?
Yeah, and that is a concern, and something we've met and talked about as a coaching staff. And like I said, what we're going to try to do, we're going to enter squad today, and then play about 4 innings, and then on Tuesday next week we're going to enter squad again and play another 4 innings, just so we can kind of simulate the regular season, how we've been handling business all year long. And so, fortunately, we do have, we're pretty deep with arms, and we were able to do that. So, our guys, it's going to give, our bullpen is going to definitely have to, for us to win this thing, especially in 2 out of 3, we're going to need some of our guys that hadn't pitched in a while. So it gives us opportunity, really, and that could be an advantage for the future to get some guys some work on the mound, face some hitters, and, compete and all that, and be prepared for the playoffs.
The other wrinkle here I'm looking at, if I'm understanding this correctly, the district champion, provided they're I guess your district champions go host type thing. I mean, we've seen seeds, 1 seeds have to travel to 8 seeds type of situation, like when Arnold had to go to Santa Fe because they didn't win the district a couple years ago. So you're just hoping that you don't draw a district champion, I guess, and you can be higher and get that home game your round 1.
Yeah, and that is a factor in the room now. That's probably the biggest factor as far as losing Tuesday is we could be potentially traveling. Last year we were the 4 seed, and we had to travel to the 5 seed in Lake City. That happened to us last year. So, but our kids, they'll travel well, and we'll be ready to play wherever we got to go. And but no, we would love to host that first round here next Friday for sure.
Yeah. And it really is just kind of, I hate to say it, sort of a flip of a coin as to even where to look and who to scout. And I mean, if you're kind of playing the waiting game, you have nowhere to look to go, let's go right over here and see what's happening in this district. But I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to this at this point.
Yeah, that is true. We've looked at it. I printed it off yesterday, and you try to speculate, and there's all kinds of options that are out there, and so it's just really hard to know what to do. But we're going to try to see at least one team tonight that we haven't put eyes on. I want to put eyes on, so we're going to try to do that, and just do as much as we can to be prepared.
It's one of those questions, Coach, where typically this kind of thing you ask, a coach after the end of the season, but goodness gracious, Hale might actually show up on one of these Thursdays, and I don't get a chance to ask you, so I'm going to take it now. Talk about kind of from when you entered this season, looking back at this year and kind of what you thought you might have. What is maybe one area that has surprised you or you've developed quicker in this season than maybe you would have thought that you had back at the beginning of the year?
Well, going in at the beginning of the year, we didn't, Carter Payne not we didn't know when he'd be back.
Right.
And coming off Tommy John, and he was our number one last year. So there was a lot of questions there. We knew Ryan was proven and had some quality innings under his belt here in his career at Mosley. So we just didn't really know what to do, didn't know what to expect there. So I think, we had guys step up in our pitching staff early on that helped us get off to a great start and just get this team believing that we belong. And offensively, really, I think 1 through 9, offensively, we've been pretty good. I mean, we don't have an easy out in the lineup, and, we got every one of our guys going to scrap and compete in the box, and that's tough on a pitching staff when you got 1 through 9. You don't have any easy outs in your lineup. So, I think that's been a kind of surprise, too. And, at different times, and we've had, 3 or 4 guys been pretty consistent all year long, but we've had somebody different seem like come up with the big hit or big offensive run production when we needed them to. So it's really a credit to all 9 of our guys in that lineup.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, we'll get to talk to you next week, I guess, before we play another game. So, but at least we'll know what's going on then. So good luck to you with the draw and everything like that, and we'll talk at you again next Thursday.
All right. Thanks for all y'all do.
Absolutely. Coach Doug Lee of the Mosley Dolphins there. And I tell you, you want to talk about double duty. He's also the AD there in spring. There's a million sports now.
Yeah, everybody's.
That man is working hard, that is for sure. But he definitely has his sights set on that state baseball tournament. So good luck to the Dolphins there, and hopefully going far in the tournament here. Well, let's talk about some more of our great sponsors here on the Coach James Hale Show. Pepper's Mexican Grill. We've always enjoyed the ability to go to Pepper's there on 77 by the old mall, but now we can go to the beach and we can deal with them there because they are right off of Back Beach Road. They're over by Arnold High School, and they have wonderful, wonderful drink specials, great food, great staff and service. You need to get out to Pepper's Mexican Grill, the best Mexican on Panama City Beach. And after you go, you're probably going to need to go see Jason Kovaleski at Max Fit Sports Nutrition. You want to look better, you want to feel better. If you've got an athlete who wants to get bigger, stronger, faster, not only do they have the best products, but they have such great knowledge and great staff that can walk you through the best products for you to achieve your goals in what you're trying to do. You can try it before you buy it at Max Fit Sports Nutrition. 2 great area locations, Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods, and in town on 23rd Street in the Del Coronado Village. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. And, it's always been an SEC-dominated draft, but will that be the case this year? We'll talk about it next. Coach James Hale Show, ESPN, Northwest Florida.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
Diana Russellini has resigned from The Athletic in an investigation into her relationship with Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel. I'm not buying his story. I'm not buying her story. I'm sorry. TCU Jay calling in here. Were they listening to Coldplay? Oh, my gosh.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by Meta over rebounds, under assists, method of first basket, free throw, piece.
Huh, so you really can same-game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
You've been low-key thinking about dropping a podcast. Well, now is the time to start, brah. Sports, politics, finance, science, health, real estate, music, interviews, surfing, conspiracy theories, or alien abductions. Ready to main character your own content? We can make it happen with Turnkey Podcast Productions from 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. Our local, modern, state-of-the-art multimedia recording studio is now available for booking, starting at just $100 an episode. Take your fandom to the next level. For more information, text the keyword studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio to 850 Info 215-6290. Text Studio 215-6290. Or jam over to ESPNPC.com. Bruh.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, it's like we're in the club this morning, Randy. Get the disco ball out here and the lights are going. Well, Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale again, joined by Jeremy Bridgen and Randy. And I want to get into something now that I found kind of interesting. So I was looking at the late, and of course, look, these things are projections. Only the CIA deals in more misinformation than the NFL in the month of April, but we do have the latest NFL draft projection by Mel Kiper, and I wanted to read through the top 10 kind of names here, and then we're going to pivot into a couple of thoughts here, Jeremy. But so at number 1, going to the Las Vegas Raiders, Mel has Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana. I doubt that's any surprise here. I think that's kind of the consensus that everybody's looking at. At number 2, they have the New York Jets taking David Bailey, linebacker from Texas Tech. Again, great talent. He was one of the reasons Texas Tech made quite the run that they did this year. At number 3, Arizona, where I was just at, their stadium, beautiful stadium, by the way. They have them taking what a lot of people consider the best overall talent in the draft this year, Arvell Reese, linebacker from Ohio State, played a little edge too. At number 4, my hapless Tennessee Titans. This would make me happy. They have them taking Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, who I think is absolute. I know they say you don't take a running back in the top 10, but the last 3 times it's happened, they've done pretty well. You're talking about Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, and Ashton Genty. So if they're good enough to go in the top 10, they usually pan out pretty well. At number 5, the New York Giants taking Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State via the University of Alabama.
Yes.
Now, Mel projects a trade at 6. He projects the Browns and Cowboys trading. Cowboys moving up to take what a lot of people are convinced is the best matchup of player personality and team in Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State. Of course, Dallas needs some help there after trading away Micah Parsons earlier in the year. But, yeah, a guy, Sonny Styles, just sounds like the Dallas Cowboys, doesn't it?
That does.
At number 7, the Washington Commanders, they have them taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
So we've now seen 4 Ohio State players in the top 7. We'll get to that in a minute, too. At number 8, the New Orleans Saints, they have projecting Reuben Bain from Miami.
Edge rusher.
What a talent.
Yep.
I know there's been obviously a lot of news out lately about a wreck that he was involved in as the driver a couple of years ago that ended in a fatality. It's not new news. It just wasn't out, I guess, as much. But they do still have him projected at number 8. At number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, rare they draft this high. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. Again, another weapon for the Patrick Mahomes coming back from injury to work with. And then to finalize the top 10, the Cincinnati Bengals are projected to select Mansour Delane, defensive back from LSU. And so, Jeremy, there are 2 things really that stood out to me in looking through this projection, which I think is pretty good, other than it's hard to project trades, obviously. Number 1, 4 Ohio State guys in the top 7 is absolutely incredible, which is more and more why Jim and Jason were so bummed that they didn't win this year. But the fact that the first time we called an SEC player was at 10. So there is a real possibility we could go a draft this year where there is not an SEC player selected in the top 10. When is the last time you thought you would say that?
It's been a long while.
And so, we were kind of chatting about it a little bit in the break, and it's hard to explain, but is it one of those cases now with just the new landscape of things and the money that's out there involved? Has the SEC perhaps positioned themselves poorly despite, all the best intentions? We haven't won a championship in 3 years.
Nope.
We don't look like we can hang our hat on, we're still getting the most guys drafted in the top 10. I mean, what in the world's going on? Is it time to jump off the bandwagon?
There are a lot of factors, obviously. You mentioned Downs, Ohio State via Alabama.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
But the SEC now is a portal to something.
Fair enough, yeah. We've
Really?
become the Montreal Expos.
Because that's the reality now. There are more opportunities. I mean, heard Saban quip. No one goes north except for the money, and here we are. So yes, I think there's several factors. The Big Ten has resources. They have a desire, and they can put those together, and you can come into areas that you didn't think you could previously recruit, and now pry people out for a season.
Yeah.
Also, if you think about all of these guys here that are being drafted, they're now scattering to go all across the nation anyway. Are we just rolling that sooner?
Yeah.
Where you might stay more regional when you've gone to college at 18 years old, but now, who cares? I can move here, move here, move here. So this idea of even school loyalties, regional loyalties, gone.
Well, we've added a wrinkle. It used to be nobody wants to go up and move up to the cold, or the facilities in the SEC are second to none, which I still believe they are. But the great equalizing factor in negating those two arguments is, I'm going to make a lot of money up here.
Yeah.
I can handle some cold in Iowa for the right amount of zeros on my check. Real quick, let's go over to the phone lines here. Let's see what this young fella has to say about this topic. Are we talking to Mike on a Thursday?
You are, and I appreciate it when somebody that's 17 years younger than me calls me a young man. I really don't like it when Coach Manley calls me a young man. Even though it's true.
Yeah.
I've been out of pocket. I had a procedure at the VA the other day. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Keep your prayers for other people. But I'm having trouble with my MGM bets account. I cannot get them to pay off the Florida win over Bethune-Cookman in baseball the other day. What's wrong?
Well, I can tell you why that is. That
Why's
is,
that?
you did not read the score wrong. Bethune-Cookman actually took that game.
That ride back to Daytona was a lot of fun.
Go Balls! Cooper Moss wasn't pitching, was he?
No, but actually Eli Blair was.
Oh, no!
Yes, so unfortunately.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually, do people went to Bethune-Cookman? I mean, I live down there in Ball, USA County. But I want to talk about Jeremiah Love.
Okay.
I think he's worthy of being drafted by the Titans, but unfortunately, they're still the Titans. They still have Amy Adams-Strunk as owner.
Yeah.
And as Cameron, their great quarterback, said last year, he said, you know what he said about him? We what? We can't. I don't really want to say that word on air.
Yeah.
But, it's part of the last end of class.
Yeah.
As I said, he said we.
Yeah.
He didn't even use a verb. We didn't say we are. He just said we, the last three letters of class. So they'll still be that way. And unfortunately, the Predators out of the playoffs. But I do want to ask you this. I have an opportunity to go to Vandy's so-called spring game Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Should I do that, or should I go in? I've got also an opportunity for a pedicure. Which one should I do?
Well, normally I would tell you if you wanted some time alone with your thoughts, go to the Vandy game. But they might actually have some people there this year.
They are going to have inflatables.
Yeah.
They're going to have face painting. I'm just reading this off of
here we go, Mike.
Yeah, so
they may have pedicures.
They're moving the location to a local high school there in the Nashville. So looks like it's going to be a fun time.
What high school is it going to be at?
No, I'm just playing on that part.
I mean, maybe Brentwood Academy, but they only have six seats on one side. Anyway,
Right.
those idiots.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm actually thinking about going there. I don't know what I can find out.
The
by
key
going
to
there.
open the stadium is going to be outside gate 2 if you're first, Mike.
Well, I thought it might be down here on Jess Neely Drive under the bench I used to sleep on when I was homeless. How about that? That's a true story. Anyway, yeah. Well, I don't know. I love spring football, and I love y'all, and I miss Coach Hale, but I love having Brian there and everybody else. And just remember, don't step on any jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Y'all take care.
Thank you, Mikey.
Bye-bye.
I love it.
Complimentary tickets.
Yeah.
The gates open at 10.
I'm telling you, it's a neat place.
It is.
What I always enjoyed about Vandy's athletic setup, because I live literally a mile down the road from there, is for a while there with the baseball, the way it was set up, they didn't have a really high backstop net and all like that. Foul balls coming over the back, you would hear them clatter in the bleachers of the football stadium. It was always hilarious to hear that pow, 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 pow as it goes down the steps. And, we always said you could do that during a football game because there wouldn't be anybody there by the fourth quarter. But that is not the case now. Coach Lee has done a really great job there. And I'm very curious to – okay, I thought I was getting played off. I'm very curious to see – obviously, we don't have Diego Pavia anymore, but I'm very curious to see – how Vandy builds on the success they've had over the last 2 years. Look, the fact that we were even having the conversation of should Vandy be in the playoff is just incredible.
Well, they've got the resources to go and acquire the players if they're interested in doing so.
Absolutely right. And there aren't many more fun places to be in your late teens, early 20s in Nashville, Tennessee. I can tell you that. So he's got some recruiting advantages.
In our next segment, Brian's going to compare Nashville and Starkville.
There might be a little difference between the two. They both end in Ville. I can do that.
Yeah, I know.
And I can tell you, I've had fun in both of them. Oh, my goodness. In fact, I might need to tell the preacher about some fun I've had in both of them. But let's talk about some of our great sponsors. I do want to get back into that kind of SEC draft thing a little bit later on because that's a little worrying for me. But I tell you what's not worrying for me, calling Patrick Garner and Turf Pro Pest Control. Look, it is starting to be that time of year where everybody's getting out and about, and you want to make sure that you don't have any unwanted insects, pests tearing up your lawn. You want your lawn to look just as beautiful as Augusta National looked a week ago, and you need to call the fine folks there at Turf Pro Pest Control. The tax day special is over, but the everyday specials are going at Turf Pro Pest Control. Steve's Bike Shop. My buddy Steve has done a wonderful, wonderful job coaching the Mosley swim team. He's done an even better job with the bike shop. They've been in business since 1979. They're on 23rd across from Sam's. New bikes, used bikes, electric bikes, fix your bike, anything bike related. Go see Steve at Steve's Bike Shop. When we get back, we're going to talk a little FSU. You're listening to Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight, a calm wind and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog in the morning and then sunshine. Partly sunny Saturday and hot around 78. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards, and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Pest Control. Do you want a great looking lawn? Call Turf Pro We will come out to your property and make a customized plan for your lawn. Then we will do the most important part, execute that plan. Turf Pro is a locally owned and operated company. We take pride in making your lawn beautiful. Call Turf Pro. You will love your lawn. The blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Find us on Facebook at Turf Pro PC.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! FSU update brought to you by Newbies and all four
Do
of the
that in
fantastic.
honor of Tommy and Glenn.
That's right. Where's Tommy today? Is he out killing Bambi today? What's going on?
He's going to have to be catching it now, otherwise the game commission might be after him.
Sorry, Tommy. Didn't mean to out you there. With the FSU update brought to you by Newbies, the mothership, Newbies 2 on the Curve, the Brew and Booze, and the beautiful blue building there in St. Andrews. We love Newbies and Charlotte and John and everything that they do, and they love FSU. Well, before we get into that, let me remind you, if you want to call or text us, you can do so at 850-215-6290. That is 215-6290. It's going to be hard to follow Mike, but give it a shot, you know. Well, let's talk a little FSU. We're going to go around the sporting horn here, and we're going to cover a lot of things going on over there. We talked about it with high school, ton of spring sports, same thing in college, got a lot going on. Women's tennis came back to beat Georgia Tech. Shame baseball couldn't do the same, but we'll get into that later. But women's tennis came back to beat Georgia Tech in the second round of the ACC tennis tournament. They will now go on to the next round to face nationally ranked number 21 California, because nothing says Atlantic Coast Conference
Like a trip to
like California.
Berkeley.
So anyway, good luck to the ladies there. Excuse me. Over on the men's side, Randy, sorry, the men's tennis team beat Louisville, knocked the Cardinal out for the second year in a row.
That's okay. We're a football and basketball school.
I wish I could say that about Mississippi State, but we're neither. So anyway, Louisville goes down. Florida State will move on, and next they face, I can't read my own writing, so I'll have to figure that out. But they are playing next. So anyway, good job to Florida State for moving on. In the beach volleyball, Florida State ranked number 5 in the country, and this is one of those things where I don't think they have a full beach volleyball in the ACC, so I actually think they band together, and it's like Big 12,
Big 12
or something.
yeah, and I was over there earlier in the year when the Bananas were in town, and we actually had a huge tournament with TCU, who is was defending national champion. And that's a lot of fun to watch there.
Yeah.
But, they have to kind of pool the resources. And you see that. I mean, like Alabama, I think, is Big 12 in rowing. So you get some strange things in those lesser, known sports.
Well, I mean, it's like we said. You got California schools in the ACC. You got the Big Ten with 16 teams. I mean, nothing is logical anymore.
For higher education.
Exactly. The Pac-2 that's going on out there now. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But beach volleyball, or beach volleyball for people who can speak correctly, number 5 in the country. They're going down to Clearwater Beach. They're going to play in the Gulf Front Invite. There's actually a lot of cool tournaments that they do with that, because and I'm sure some of it is kind of, trying to consolidate resources, where you go to these one areas where multiple teams are, you get a bunch of games in.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll kind of be the last run before we start getting into the Big 12 conference play and into the national tournament. So good luck to, the Lady Seminoles there. Now, we alluded to it there with baseball. Florida State, looking great this year, top 10 ranked, everything kind of rocking along. They came off of a good series win against Virginia in Virginia. They took 2 out of 3 up there. Virginia's great program.
Then they had a week they wanted to forget.
Yeah, it starts when you lose a nail biter to the Gators. And
Yeah.
you get, season swept, I believe,
Season
by the
swept,
Gators.
and
then you go to hot Atlanta, and what in the world happened, Jeremy?
Baseball is such a fickle game, and the momentum shift on the double play to end the first series
Yes.
game seemed to just carry over the rest of the weekend. And if you didn't watch it, it was a textbook clinic on how to look back a runner and throw to first. And then FSU tries to get the break and ends up with a double play, game over. Georgia Tech wins. And that just seemed to set the tone for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, 4-3, tough loss on the Thursday night game. Then again, 8-3 loss on Friday, and then
just smoked 17-3. Let's get on the plane. 7 innings.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we'll give you the last 2 innings. We'll get home.
Right.
Beat that traffic.
They did bounce back. Stetson came up for the midweek game, and kind of got back on the winning ways. And then the novelty of Notre Dame, who does compete in the ACC. They're at this point in
and
the
of course,
baseball.
where Coach came from.
Yes.
In coming to Florida
right.
State.
So they've got a wrinkle to it this weekend. So maybe you can get them focused again. Should be a beautiful weekend for some baseball over at Hauser and get to regroup. But that's a pretty strong stretch. I mean, Virginia, Florida in the midweek, and then up to Tech. That's pretty strong.
It's so unique with baseball because, it's hard not to get down, like you said, after you go through a rough week like that, but you realize they're playing 50-some-odd games now. And so you never want to give anything away, but it's kind of like, okay, this midpoint of the season, it's not the end of the world here. If this happens, second week of May, you're probably a lot more worried. And
you do have those midweek games to retool.
That's right.
That's right. Now, obviously, it did not work well in Gainesville this week, but the flip side is Stetson gets their shot. Stetson's made regional play before. I saw them a couple of years ago when they were in the Tallahassee Regional. So the smaller schools come in ready to play because if they can add that to a resume, it starts to sort things out on those bids for the tournament. The bigger schools come in to host those teams to get some players some work, and they just expect to win. I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of the football money game.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. FSU on the season batting at a 277 clip. That's something they'd probably want to get up a little bit. However, they're holding opponents to only hitting 227 against them. So that's pretty solid. Let's see what we've got here. Hits, 326, RBIs, 234, against only giving up 148 RBIs. They are legging out a lot of doubles this year, 69 doubles. They've hit 46 home runs, which is solid, taken 186 walks, and they've stolen 36 bases, only been caught 10 times. Now, one negative here is they've actually had 37 bases stolen against them out of 43 attempts, so not very good defensively against stolen bases, so that's something they got to work on. Pitchers are 25-11, throwing 301 innings. WHIP is at 1.34. They have allowed 258 hits, and 29 of those being home runs. But overall, it is kind of a fairly balanced FSU team this year. There's nothing that really stands out one way or the other, which generally is nice if you're in kind of a good develop through the season improvement mode across all aspects. That's the way you'd want it to be. You definitely don't want it to be a case where you're just super loaded in one area and then you slump in that and you have no answers. But overall, I think FSU has kind of got things off on the right foot as far as making kind of a longer postseason run, hopefully getting back to Omaha. Just got to clean up a little bit of things from the series, and a nice series win at home over Notre Dame, I think, would be a good step in the right direction, don't you think?
I think so. Yeah. Stretch run here is kind of important because it just builds on that all-important momentum.
Yeah.
That's what you carry into regional play and onward.
Well, and you hate to think about it this way, but when your football's not going very well and your basketball, although I thought they were playing really good at the end of the season last year, to be honest, I wish they'd done what Auburn did. The NIT's the NIT, but I do think that helped Auburn. Getting that, because the way you felt at the end of the SEC tournament was totally different than the way, even though you knew it was the NIT, you felt different.
You had more games, more reps, such as
Florida State, when they played Duke in the ACC tournament, was a shot or two away, and they looked good by the end of the year. So, but basketball's still not quite where you want it. So, if you're an FSU fan, I think baseball really is the kind of thing that can get you back. And the nice thing is it leads into the summer. leading into what's hopefully a better football season next year.
Latest Baseball America has Florida State ranked 13. So that's hosting a regional. I mean, that's pretty much a lock, which is about as certain as spring coming around as Florida State hosting a regional.
Yeah, that's true.
What you don't like to see there after that week is you were actually poised to be a super regional host.
Yeah.
Now, if you come in at 13 and you do win your region, you got to go on the road in the best 2 out of 3 round, and that's tough. So
no, absolutely.
But still some time to make some of that up, and there are a lot of games played by the folks ahead of you that can shake that out. But,
yeah, well, especially when the SEC keeps cannibalizing each other. When we'll get into next.
That one.
But,
yeah.
Absolutely right. Well, good luck to the Seminoles here this weekend, and that 3-game set with Notre Dame, because that'll be a really good one there to go to. So get out there to Mike Martin Field at Dick Hauser Stadium and catch some great ACC baseball. I'll tell you what else is great is Newbies, and we love them for sponsoring the Florida State Update every single day here on the Coach James Hale Show. Again, you want to have a great time, the answer to that is always Newbies. And I'm sure he will love me for this, but the other person I'm going to talk about after the FSU update, Dr. John Ward, the Gator himself. I'll get a call about this one. But Doc Ward, let me tell you something. Skin cancer can be deadly. 1 in 5 will develop it in their lifetime. The best way to protect yourself against that is regular screenings. And if you're listening to us right now, Doc Ward has an office near you. He has 8 convenient area locations, great staff, great people in there to make sure that your skin stays healthy and cancer-free. Call Dr. John Ward, dermatology specialist, and make sure you don't become a skin cancer statistic. It's the top of the hour. You know what that means. Randy's favorite segment's coming up. The Alabama Update. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back.
Swing and a drive. That's hammered deep right. He jumped on one and hits a homer.
We're your exclusive radio home for the Atlanta Braves.
At the wall. It is gone. A grand slam for Acuna.
Hear every exciting home run, every strikeout, and every thrilling victory on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog in the morning, and then sunshine. Partly sunny Saturday and hot around 78. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking to upgrade your truck? It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfurt Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Break free from the ordinary. Find your next escape in a new 2026 Kia Sportage from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia, now offering 0% APR for up to 48 months and a 90-day payment deferral on the purchase of a new 2026 Kia Sportage. There's never been a better time to drive and picture home. The Sportage delivers bold style, impressive versatility, and a refined interior built for whatever the road takes you to. From daily drives to weekend getaways, stay connected and confident every mile. The road is yours. And remember, Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile powertrain warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Offer from Kia Finance America on the purchase of a new 2026 Kia Sportage with $20.83 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers valid through 5/4/26.
I'd like to introduce.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
Milk was a bad choice.
If I could just have your attention.
60% of the time, it works every time.
If anyone wants to switch jobs, let me know.
Live from the J. Michaels studio.
I have many leather-bound books.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I love the long lead in. Getting goosebumps there, Jeremy?
It's exciting.
No better song to hear on a Saturday.
That's a good one.
Roll Tide, roll. You know how many people just drove off the road hearing that? Alabama Update brought to you every single day here on the Coach James Hale Show by Steverson Air Conditioning. Jason and the crew, they are local. They are the best. We're getting close to where we're going to be in those dog days of summer. You don't want to wait until June to deal with any issues with your AC unit. Go on and call them right now. Make sure they come out, give it a check. Make sure you are tip-top, ready to go for the summer. Steverson Air Conditioning, they are number one. Jeremy, how's life going on the capstone? What do we got coming up here?
Well, Saturday, A-Day game, and everybody's parsing whatever intel.
We don't overanalyze anything with the Alabama football team, do we?
Whatever intel we could glean from that. I was struck. Casagrande with AL.com said that they were in the north end zone, far upper reaches. Sounds like they were in Northport trying to watch the game. And he was not real happy about the...
no, it didn't sound like it.
Yeah. But in the game on Saturday, big storyline, obviously, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack. Russell, for whatever gap there might have been between Mack and Russell, I think that has all but dissipated.
Sure.
It's gone going into the summer here. Russell had a day, and in some boards came out really as the front runner. Thinking about the quarterback one post now that Ty Simpson has moved on. As far as the game itself, said the stadium was about 20% capacity, so maybe about 20,000 people total. Hard to gauge that. One, the format's different.
Oh, sure.
Two, the whole spring notion has changed compared to when it became a 3-hour infomercial around Tuscaloosa and Saban walking around in his pink jacket barking. So the theatrical sort of piece of this is out the door.
That's right.
Even the format of the winners get the steak and the losers get the hot dogs. All the things that had built up to kind of the carnival atmosphere.
Right.
And so glorified practice, yes. Still game simulated. Luke Metz is one of the names that you keep hearing about that did well with him. His effort on defense, sophomore, had a batted pass, had a 4-yard tackle for loss, had a 3-yard holding Daniel Hill shy of the goal line, and while he was a special teams player last year, certainly improved his stock to get some reps. Caleb Woodson likely to be the other linebacker across from Metz. The offensive line, question mark, still a question mark.
Yeah.
Defensive line looked good, and this is one of those challenges that you have. Is the defense really that good, or is the offense really that bad?
Fair enough. Yeah.
But we had a terrible time running the ball last year and had rotation galore trying to make that happen. The defense held its own quite well against our offensive line. So those question marks, if you had them, were still there at the end of the day. And Alabama's going to have to run the football if there's any hope of having any success this fall. So the Russell piece, probably the most exciting thing, as one commenter said, it looked like almost video game like.
Yeah.
He's got the chops. We knew that as well. The summer we'll sort some of these questions out, but spring football's done. They have a game, more questions than answers, and go back in and try to get back to work. The identity, I think, is the piece that hangs over the program as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, I don't expect a team to have an identity coming out of the spring. It's just that we're 3 years in now, and we're still waiting for what does the identity under DeBoer look like?
You know, you make an excellent point there, because the identity would change under Saban, but you always knew what it was.
Yes.
We would be, you know, a down 4 kind of defense,
Murder
bull rush
ball.
up front, but then we shifted and we got to speed edge guys like that. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust into, you know, especially when Kiffin came in. Now we're bringing in quarterback talent. We're spreading the ball.
And you kind of saw those junctures where it happened when we got when we got in the shootout with Auburn in the night game in Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
That was like, okay, we've got to pivot.
Yes.
You know, we were able to win that game that night, 52-45, some crazy number like that. But the offensive scheme was going to change that night.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're still trying to figure it out, and I'm not sure if they're not still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that points to the OC.
Yeah. And it's such a weird thing with Grubb, because I do believe when it comes to a 2-point conversion play or a key 4th down play, there's not a better play caller in the country.
I was watching John Gruden and Ty Simpson break down the
Yes.
game against Georgia.
Yeah,
and the closing it out.
Yeah, that, and then the stumble bum play, which I honestly, to God, I thought like Gruden. I thought he legitimately fell.
Yes.
I had no idea that was a planned play.
Right.
I mean, it's fascinating. But,
yeah.
But like you say, it's in the general offensive scheme and play calling, it looked rough.
Yep.
But for that one play,
South Carolina 2-point conversion,
so good.
You know, to tie it up
Yeah.
last year. You know, you had no idea where there were 3 options coming off of that. So the gimmicky, I mean, I hate to say gimmicky,
no, but it's true.
But it is that kind of, you know, which way would we cover here? So that to me hangs over whatever the stat lines were, whatever the performance was. And the players can't really shape that. The players execute that.
That's right.
But the coaches shape that.
That's right.
And that's the fundamental question.
You know, it's interesting in discussing the quarterback play. We were talking about this earlier in the week. And obviously, Austin Mack was a little banged up, but I think you're right. I think Keelan Russell took the narrative and ran with it. I definitely believe he should be the starter. And it's almost unfortunate in what I'm about to say. I think Austin Mack has shown that he is a very capable and trustworthy backup. And by nature of doing that, that's where I want him to stay. And it's so unfortunate to think that as a player, you do all the right things and you almost pigeonhole yourself. I feel more comfortable starting Russell, and if it's not going well, Matt coming in to save us, than I do the other way.
Yes. Yeah, because
do you know what I mean?
I do, because if Russell comes in, it's sort of this all or nothing. It's either going to go really well or
your ceiling's higher.
Yeah.
But he's younger, probably more prone to mistakes.
The potential for those catastrophic mistakes
is
higher, yes.
Especially if he's running for his life.
Right. So the athletic quarterback sort of mantra versus the game manager mantra is right there with the both of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting year defensively. I think Alabama has the opportunity to be elite defensively. What I'm looking at now, yes, they did lose a lot up front. You know, to the portal. We lost 3 key players. I mean, there were 2 guys went to Ohio State. The one I hated losing the most was Keon Keeley. I think he was a special player. Now, to be fair, I don't think Womack, who I do believe is a great defensive coordinator, I don't think Keeley really fit anywhere in Womack's. And I think Womack even would say that. He just didn't. His skills would have fit Alabama about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
More than what it is. And he's gone to Notre Dame, and good luck to him. I hope he gets second behind Alabama.
Right.
But anyway, I think this secondary today is the best in the country. And if we can, and that's why I felt pretty good what you were saying about up front defensively. Of course, it may have been going against our OL, but if the front 7 can kind of step up the way that, you know, next man up mentality goes, the back end of that defense should be extremely good. This could be a team that kind of maybe harkens back to the old Alabama of built on defense, don't make mistakes, go forward.
The good thing, you know, looking at the fall, they should run September undefeated and be sitting there with the dogs coming to town ready to go. So whatever, you know, you have to sort of work out first of the year. Obviously, there's the game against Florida State. If they're not motivated for that one, it's going to be a long year anyway after what happened in Tallahassee last year. But the rest of the schedule sets up fairly well.
We went through it yesterday. It's a weird schedule.
Weird schedule.
It's 5 games. You don't take any game for granted, but let's say the first 5 would be advantageous to you.
Yes.
Then there's a run of 4 games
that's
brutal.
Right, before you come back out of that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Georgia at home. Then you go to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Texas A&M at home. Then you finally get a week off, and oh, by the way, you're going to head down to Baton Rouge to play at night against Lane Kiffin.
That's right.
Now, the one good thing there is Kiffin has not been able to really solve the Alabama problem yet.
Nope.
But he's got some new weapons this year. So, we'll have to see how that goes. And then it kind of settles again until you play
Vandy,
Auburn.
Chattanooga, Auburn. Yep.
So
on the other sports of the spring here, quickly, baseball, tough weekend. Hogs came calling.
A whole lot of pig suey.
Yeah, kept calling. And they left Tuscaloosa with 3 wins, which was just a bit of a stunner given how Alabama has played. And the games themselves, I mean, Saturday was awful.
Yeah.
15-6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing, 7-5. It's another 3-2. But that one Saturday seemed to hit a sour chord. They did bounce back, got the win over UAB in Birmingham Tuesday night. But it doesn't get any easier. They're heading to Austin. Here, with the series with the Horns.
Who I still believe, in my mind, they're the most gifted team in the country.
Yeah.
Personal, but.
Yeah, so, but we have talked about how the SEC is just eating each other alive.
We looked at it. There's not a team. Now, this may have changed midweek games, but South Carolina had been on a 5-game run, and when they did that, there is no longer a team in the conference that is below 500 for the season.
Right.
16 teams.
16
That's incredible.
Teams. And you look at the overall here in the conference. Georgia 11-4, Texas 9-5, A&M 9-5, Florida 9-6, Bama 8-7, Ole Miss 8-7, Auburn 8-7, Arkansas 8-7. I mean,
yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
And this is even skewed a little bit because you don't play everybody.
That's right.
Georgia's draw in the conference to me is not as strong.
That's true.
As what Alabama's had to draw.
That's true.
So, but it just shows the competitive balance piece that is out there for everybody in baseball. So tough weekend coming up in Austin. I think they need to win one in Austin just because to bounce back. They're sitting now number 16 in Baseball America after having been as high as 8.
Yeah.
They were sitting on the cusp of that super regional host round.
Oh, yeah.
And now are certainly destined to have to hit the road.
Well, don't I know it as a Mississippi State fan? I can tell you what 2 weeks can do to change your outlook on things. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Softball-wise, ladies are rolling. They are now 39-4, number 2 in the nation.
Wow.
They sit behind the Oklahoma Sooners. Imagine that.
As does everyone.
Yeah, and then Texas Tech now, third there in place. But ladies will play again this weekend. They, I think, swept Auburn. They played Samford and shockingly got beat in the midweek game. Not sure what went on there, but they play the Kentucky Wildcats in Tuscaloosa, 3-game set this weekend. So,
all right. Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you to Steverson Air Conditioning for their sponsorship of the Alabama Update here. As always, and what to me, a great show is when you do go long with the Alabama Update, but we did. So we're going to head straight to a break here. When we come back, we're going to head across the state. We're going to talk a little Auburn sports. You're listening to Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The wait is over.
That is gone!
Catch Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, Austin Riley, and all the boys as the Atlanta Braves look to reclaim the East.
A walk-off home run, and the Braves win it.
Follow the journey to October right here. Your official home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
Man, oh man, is he playing some baseball.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight, a calm wind and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog in the morning and then sunshine. Partly sunny Saturday and hot around 78. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking to upgrade your truck? It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfort Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
You've been low-key thinking about dropping a podcast. Well, now is the time to start, brah. Sports, politics, finance, science, health, real estate, music, interviews, surfing, conspiracy theories, or alien abductions. Ready to main character your own content? We can make it happen with Turnkey Podcast Productions from 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. Our local, modern, state-of-the-art multimedia recording studio is now available for booking, starting at just $100 an episode. Take your fandom to the next level. For more information, text the keyword studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio 215-6290 or jam over to ESPNPC.com. Bruh.
It's the Coach James Hale Show. Live and local from the J. Michaels Studio.
A lot more excitement is yet to come.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Whoa! Eagle! Hey! Auburn update brought to you on the Coach James Hale Show by Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Pat Perno, he does a wonderful, wonderful job as a city commissioner. He does an even better job at Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. We know they have great food, like those onion rings, like Wing Wednesday yesterday. I wonder if he has any wings left. It's so popular. But we know we can watch sports there. They got 1 billion TVs in the place. But the thing that sets Beef O'Brady's apart, the friendly and knowledgeable staff there. They are absolutely top-notch, best in the area. And that means you need to get out there today and enjoy a great meal at Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Well, heading over to the Plains here, we're going to talk a little bit about, now their A-Day game is this weekend. And, of course, with Coach Golish, this is going to be his first year. They're on the Plains running this, and he had a few words to say. He said, it's awesome for our kids to play in an environment that's different. So he said, our players, it'll be big for them, an environment where people are around. For half this team, including the coaches, it's the first time in a stadium in front of people. So that'll be neat. But he definitely invited Auburn fans out. It's a free scrimmage on Saturday to kind of simulate what they can expect with the team this fall. He says it will be the last time they get to do it before you do it in real life in Atlanta in a couple of months. For us to take a step, we need that. We need some crowd noise. We need distraction. We need things going on for us to get a full live rep at it. So he said the offense will compete against the defense for 4 quarters, with the offense in white jerseys scoring 6 points for a touchdown, 1 for a PAT, 3 for a field goal, 2 for a 2-point conversion, and 1 for a first down. That's interesting, giving them points for a first down. Although against D.J. Durkin's offense, you might need more points than that for a first down, because Coach Durkin certainly got that defense raring to go. I think the key for me in looking at this Auburn team that obviously has not performed up to expectations. I believe it's 4 losing seasons in a row. Hugh Freeze, he did do some good things, coming out of the Harsin era, and there are some things that got better. I do believe that he has left the program better than he found it, although maybe not nearly as much as people would like. But the one thing he could never figure out, Jeremy, he could not solve that quarterback question, could he?
No, he couldn't. And I think that's just his own offensive mind and trying to get his mind settled with who he had. And it showed. It showed.
And that's where I think the key, as much as I like Golish as a coach, the combination of Golish bringing his quarterback with him will make that transition that much easier. You really don't have to do much with the defense.
Nope.
It's locked in, same people, same mindset. Obviously, it carried the team a lot of last year.
Solid bunch.
You've lost some talent on the offensive side. Cam Coleman's almost irreplaceable anywhere. He just is. But you change around what you do, you've got that kind of rock of a defense that can keep you in games. And that familiarity on the offense should be something that really helps Auburn. Whereas I think with Freeze, I think having to try and go out and piece that together to go grab a Jackson Arnold or to go grab an Ashton Daniels or to try and bring up a Deuce Knight, and he never could figure out which way he wanted to go, and it just, it kept going off the rails for him. The defense kept him in games. Good Lord, we're a couple of bad calls away last year from Auburn. I mean, maybe Hugh Freeze still be there.
Absolutely.
If a few calls had gone the other way, much less the quarterback issues.
The margins are thin. They were really thin. And, talking to Andy over the course of the fall, you could feel that, how it just swung. And truth be known, same thing with Auburn basketball. They won the NIT, yes, but you go to the Texas A&M call that doesn't go their way. I mean, the margins were just very thin from being this sort of season that didn't meet expectations to really being a good one. Football was snake bit the same way. A couple of officiating calls,
Well, and the problem is when you have one of those happen to you, okay. When you have another one, then you start to get into this the world is against me, woe is me mode, and you can go one of two ways. It can rally you, or it can deflate you. And with Auburn, we talked about it during the season last year. I think with Auburn, it just deflated them. It was like they were waiting for what's going to go wrong next.
Right. That's exactly right. And that mentality, I think Golesh will take care of that and regroup.
Absolutely.
I've been high on him since he was down at South Florida, and we kind of got introduced to him in that series that Alabama has one more to finish up with the Bulls, but he scared the bejesus out of everybody down there in Tampa that first year.
Isn't that the truth? Well, Florida remembers him, I can tell you that.
Yes.
The culmination of A-Day week here is presented by Golden Flake. I love saying that. That's nothing says Southern football to me like Golden Flake, does it? The old Coach Brian ads.
Yep, that's the definition of Southern.
I can't remember the last time I've had a Golden Flake, but I'm hungry just thinking about it. But Saturday's scrimmage starts at 2 p.m. Central and features, I like this, a post-game autograph session with the players there on Pat Dye Field. I always like that. I like the connection.
Well, you've got to build that connection.
That's
now,
right.
When you only have players for 12 months, not 4 years, you don't have this chance to really sort of get to know them. They're here and they're gone.
Yeah.
And so, as much as you can do to create connection, that's important, because you could follow them through the recruiting process, go to signing day, know that you're coming your way, and then just stay with them the entire time they were there and feel like you really got to know them.
Yeah. No, I think it's great that they're doing that. And, we talked yesterday. It was kind of an interesting thing. They play football at Jordan-Hare, so why not bring in international football? June 9th, they are bringing a soccer friendly, if you will. It's going to be one of the last warm-ups before the World Cup, which, of course, is in the United States this year. And defending World Cup champions Argentina and Lionel Messi, world superstar, will be playing a friendly against Iceland there at Jordan-Hare. And I tell you, I was talking to some people yesterday after we talked about it. There's a lot of excitement around that. I mean, you talk about your kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. There are goats in the sporting world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was growing up, goat was a bad thing.
Yeah, right, yeah. I
but
know.
Greatest of all time. I mean, if you had a chance to go see Michael Jordan play in a preseason game, you went.
Yep.
If you had a chance to see Wayne Gretzky play hockey, you went. If you had a chance to go see, go back, Mickey Mantle or Joe DiMaggio or, whoever, Nolan Ryan pitching, you went. Lionel Messi's like that.
No.
Even if you don't follow soccer, you know who he is.
Right. You're in
so
the
it's kind of a neat thing they're doing.
You're in the presence of greatness here.
Absolutely.
And we're watching these universities, seeking revenue streams.
Yes.
I mean, let's just name that reality. Yeah. We had bull riding at Doak Campbell recently. We've got these venues that sit.
Yes.
And so how do we take these places that just sit for the most part of the year?
That's right.
And now turn that into something that can be revenue producing.
Right. And to be fair, I know I read College Station doing the same thing. They'll actually host another Argentina friendly as well. So so good for them, and it's just neat. I thought that was a cool thing. Continuing with football and the draft, Auburn does have a projected first rounder according to several different draft projection boards. Keldrick Falk, edge rusher, is projected to go 26 to the Buffalo Bills per ESPN's Mel Kiper. That'd be a nice pickup. He was a great player. He's been projected anywhere from maybe 15 to 35-ish, but they think he's going to slot in that late first round mode. Now, the interesting thing about that as a player, surely you'd love the money of being up toward the top, but what does it mean when you get selected by one of the top teams? Probably not going to a very good squad.
You'll earn your money.
Yes, they're going to – now, you'll get playing time right away, most likely. But no, I mean, going to a team like the Buffalo Bills, who a lot of people are like, they're right on the edge of maybe getting a Super Bowl out of it, you could end up like Jalen Milroe.
Get a ring.
He didn't see a play, but he got a ring.
Absolutely.
So, congratulations to him for that. But Keldrick Falk, again, projected number 26 to the Buffalo Bills. Let's go over to the Diamond here. Auburn baseball, 25-11 on the season, as you had mentioned earlier, 8-7, which it seems like half the teams in the conference are. But they're coming off of 2 consecutive winning series in the SEC. Most recently, taken 2 of 3 from Kentucky, and they hit the road. They're coming down to Gainesville for a very important and a pretty good little matchup here with a very similar type team in the University of Florida. Florida's been a little more Jekyll and Hyde. Auburn, a little more steady kind of in their approach this year. Florida can be as good we talked to Mark McLeod yesterday. They can be as good as anybody in the country, and they can be as bad as anybody in the country.
So when you get teams bunched up like this, 2 things. You're going to have the momentum. You mentioned the 2 series that Auburn's won. Let's go across the state. Alabama's dropped 1.
Right.
Now they've got another big one with Austin, Texas. If they drop 3 to Texas, you've got momentum going that way. Now, the counter to that is when you get all these teams bunched up together like that, there's not much difference. Momentum, recent wins could propel, but who becomes sort of the bulldog on the individual effort? Who wants the ball to try to go into that setting when you need – and so the psyche of your pitching staff really becomes the deciding factor.
Yeah.
And who can give the ball in that single elimination format of the conference tournament, because it really will matter.
I had this mental picture when you said that of Max Scherzer.
Yes.
Like when the manager's coming out to take the ball and Scherzer – starts mouthing some words you can't say back to him, like, get back in that dugout.
Right.
But you want that mentality. You want that guy who's like, I have this.
Right. And that's who's going to emerge and carry one of these teams through this pack that has yet to separate from one another.
You just want them to be a little less mentally unhinged than Max Scherzer.
True. This is true. But because you're going to have a gamer step up. And, and so some teams are going to ride some momentum into Hoover. But then within that, even if you don't have the momentum, who's going to be that one to just say, okay, I'm going to put them on my back, and we're going to force through at least a round or 2 of this 16 team.
And that's the difference. When the teams are this razor thin, that's the difference. And I think you're right. A rare, we always do it Easter weekend, which I agree with. I don't love it as much on other weekends. I don't know why we're doing it this weekend, but a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series here. So we actually get kicked off tonight at 6 p.m.
Is it television this weekend? I think
maybe.
I think they offset one series to get some Thursday night programming in.
It's always going to be about money, I guess. But Thursday, tonight at 6 p.m., tomorrow 4:30 p.m., and then on Saturday at 11 a.m., those are Central Time starts. So whether you're a Gator, whether you're a Tiger, good luck to you this weekend in a very important SEC baseball tilt. We want to thank Beef O'Brady's Lynn Haven for sponsoring our Auburn update, as they do every single week here on, or every single day here on the Coach James Hale Show. When we come back, I don't know where we're going, so you're just going to have to stay tuned and listen. You're listening to Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
That boot store can help you dress in style, from casual Western wear for a night out with family and friends to a special meeting that requires a fashion touch with Western flair. From boots to hats, belts to shirts to jeans, and a lot more for the smallest of the largest in name brand Western attire, including Carhartt work clothes. Shop that boot store for the whole family. Open Tuesday through Thursday 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. Next to Billboard Kia, 15th Street, Panama City, where God is good all the time.
Salty Suds Pet Wash is open and ready to serve you and your furry friend. We offer an indoor, self-serve, climate-controlled area for your convenience. Choose between a variety of shampoos, flea and tick treatment, and a deodorizer. Dry them with a high-suction vacuum and powerful dryer. We only charge $20 for 20 minutes with a new app and membership that is now available for only $40 a month, up to 4 washes per month. We are located at 19987 Panama City Beach Parkway in PCB. Got a salty dog? We'll make them sweet again at Salty Suds Pet Wash.
He doesn't try on clothes at the department stores. He just rips stuff off the hanger and lives with the consequences for years.
It's classy, it's intriguing.
He's sexy, sassy, and full of spunk.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show. There are times I wish these mics were live in between. There's a lot of times where I'm glad they're not. But golly, we were having a good time there in the break. But glad to have you back with us here. I wanted to let you guys know, if you'd like to be a part of the show, we would love to hear from you. If you want to call or text us, you can do that on the phone line there at 850-215-6290. That is 850-215-6290. And don't forget, you can listen to Paul Wilson this afternoon on the Sports Blitz from 4 to 6 p.m. And then right after that, the Carnival Barker himself, old Paul Feinbaum, he's going to run the show of Happy Misfits from 6 to 10 p.m. You can only hear that here at ESPN Northwest Florida.
Remember when Paul used to, write columns? Back in the day.
Yeah. I remember we called him Slime Bomb for I don't know how long, but
actually have this old book, Feinbaum Said, and all these sort of collections there. So I think that's on.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're going to do something, be good at it. And Carnival Barker is the best description I could say. He is so good at manipulating the strings of that show, and he has created so many characters. Mm-hmm. In the callers of that show, people who have become, Phyllis from Mulga was world famous there for a while.
Yes.
When she would go after Colin Cowherd, but the I-Man and Jim from Tuscaloosa and Tammy, who unfortunately passed away in a tragic car accident. But I mean, you got to where you almost felt like those were the weird cousins of the family,
right?
And but I can say this: I spend most of my time listening to Feinbaum screaming at my radio, but I listen. Mm-hmm. And he's good at it.
He's equal opportunity antagonist, insultist.
I just see him as a puppet master, just dance. But it is something else. Well, speaking of people who can fire up a fan base here, golly, the national treasure that is Charles Barkley.
Oh my!
So I came across this story. I had to go into it because we were talking Masters earlier this week. Of course, it's one of those things that kind of transcends sports. A lot of people who only watch one golfing event every year will watch the Masters. And so anyway, one of the traditions, unlike any other, to steal a Jim Nantz phrase, is the Masters Champions Dinner that happens I believe it's every Tuesday night of Masters Week before the Par 3 contest. And so it's always a big deal when the menu kind of gets released and this, that, or the other. And so anyway, they were talking, Charles was on with, I think, or maybe he was just commenting on Greg McElroy, talking about it on their show. And they were talking about Rory's Masters Champions Dinner, and one of the items on the menu was bacon-wrapped dates. And as Charles Barkley said, he goes, that's the only way you could bleep up bacon. But that kind of turned into a thing. So what it was McElroy had listed what he would do as his. So I'm going to give you this and kind of, see what you want. It might talk to us a little bit about how McElroy has parlayed his career, because there's a lot of this stuff I haven't eaten before. For appetizers, peach and ricotta flatbread, rock shrimp tempura, bacon-wrapped dates, which, again, we know what Charles thinks about those, and grilled elk sliders. Okay, that's not a bad start.
Okay.
For the first course, yellowfin tuna carpaccio. Okay. Well, some fancy words in there, but that's fine. The main course would include a Wagyu filet mignon or seared salmon with traditional Irish champ, sautéed Brussels sprouts, glazed carrots with brown butter, and crispy Vidalia onion rings. By the way, this was Rory's, not Greg McElroy's. I had misspoken on that.
Yeah, Rory, yeah.
That's right. For dessert, and this, as someone who can't have sugar, this is just torture. Sticky toffee pudding, which just sounds fantastic. And vanilla ice cream and warm toffee sauce. So the question then became, after McElroy read that out, Barkley, what do you think about that? And typical Charles Barkley, it's too foo-foo for me.
Too foo-foo.
So they asked, well, Charles, what would you have on your Masters menu? And he says, well, for starters, shrimp cocktails and crab cocktails. When it comes to a salad, Barkley wants a Caesar, no anchovies. The main course, fried chicken, Dover sole, and some vegetarian BS. And then for dessert, key lime pie, apple pie, and vanilla ice cream. So,
wow.
Typical Charles, keep it simple and delicious and go from there. So I just love Charles. I wish we could have heard him say
So now
all
you have to wonder, what's Rory going to do next year?
Fair enough, because he gets to go at it again. That's
because
right.
Scotty Scheffler, two-time winner, he got to host this same meal. And in 23, he rolled out the same the meal that he rolled out in 25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's boring.
I know.
They made a lot of it when Tiger, after his first one, of course, Tiger was really young. I think he wanted it, 21 or whatever he did. And he did like cheeseburgers and fry, and said it was a great hit.
Well, Bubba Watson, Northwest Florida here, kind of what would the Northwest Florida winner do? This was Bubba's meal. Traditional Caesar, grilled chicken breast, green beans, mashed potatoes, corn, mac and cheese with cornbread.
This sounds like every meat and three. This is City Cafe in Northport, right? Crying out loud.
Straight out of Milton. Confetti cake and vanilla ice cream. And he served that menu when he won his first green jacket, won it again in 15 as well.
Yeah.
So they said, what was Nick Faldo on Bubba Watson's menu? Okay. Sir Nick Faldo.
Yes.
They said, what was the worst one? Oh, it was Bubba's, wasn't it? When we had Chuck E. Cheese, a little hamburger, a little corn, a little ice cream. I think we had a milkshake.
I was going to say, there are going to be some very refined palates in that room.
Right. What was the worst? Oh, it was Bubba's.
That is, the Chuck E. Cheese line is great. That's a typical Nick Faldo line, too.
Yes.
But no, I think it's hilarious. It's one of those things that you kind of think about. Obviously, it's not anything that's ever going to happen to us, but, what would you
have to host a dinner sometime.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and I do know that one of the things that's become a bigger thing is they try and have some regional flair to where they're from.
Right.
So Rory had some Irish-themed items in that. I know that the English have done the same. The Spanish have certainly done the same. And then within, the United States, Scotty threw a Texas flair to his. Bubba was definitely deep south. As they do that with California guys, I know they've had some of the kind of the interesting cuisine that comes out of that area, but it got me to thinking, and I'd love to hear from callers or texters on this, like what would your Masters meal entail? I guess if I'm thinking, what I really love in my life, I love Cajun food. Always have. Mobile is always thought of as New Orleans light, so, we have a little bit of that. Now, the interesting thing, and we were kind of discussing this a little bit, is as much as I love it, it can be a rough, taste for people who aren't used to that kind of
That's right.
thing. Very spicy, very dry spicy. And, that would be a tough one maybe to serve to a group. So maybe as an option, kind of a part of things.
Well, you may be closer to Scotty's here. Scotty's
okay.
Cheeseburger sliders, served Scotty style, whatever that is. Firecracker shrimp with sweet chili and sriracha mayo appetizer. Tortilla soup, avocado, crispy blue tortilla strips, sour cream, cilantro, lime,
sure.
All of that.
Definite Texas there.
Texas ribeye or blackened redfish served with mac and cheese.
That's where I'd go.
Jalapeno cream corn, fried Brussels sprouts, seasoned fries, and then a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with milk and cookies and ice cream.
Golly.
So that's close. I mean, what you'd do if you were looking, Mobile, Mississippi
Oh, my
coast.
gosh. I'm telling you, I would love to see Sir Nick see the bowl of jambalaya I put in front of him. But no, I mean, I'm telling you, gumbo, I would have it all, but you would have to certainly have some options there as well. But, it would be fantastic. Now, I will say this, for dessert, I have to go cheesecake. I am a cheesecake fanatic.
Love it.
I absolutely love it. There are a couple out there that, if they want to sponsor us, I'd be happy to give them over the air. But there's a couple of cheesecakes out there that I would absolutely kill for. What about you, Jeremy? What would kind of be your go-to if you were going to host this thing?
We definitely have the grouper out there. Offer the sort of tuna dip, shrimp appetizers, those things. Have to, for the seafood folks that can't do that, we go with some barbecue. Probably brisket. Not just the pork stuff, but do the better stuff there if I had to host a meal like that. And then the vegetables, mashed potatoes, the green beans, probably pretty straight down the middle on that. I'm actually not that sort of adventurous in my eating.
You know what you like, and you like
right.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you got me thinking about Rudy's
and
with
definitely
a lot of that stuff.
Definitely chocolate on the dessert.
We got to have chocolate on the dessert. But, the way I've likened it to the more words it takes to explain your food menu, it's kind of like the way I've always thought with the more words it takes for your Starbucks order, the worse it's going to be.
And
coffee black. That's all I need.
and it's funny how these sort of regional tastes here. So when I was an associate senior minister I served with, he had gone out to San Francisco and he's getting ready to eat, and he was all excited about going to this high-end restaurant. He got there, and the first thing on the menu, West Alabama catfish. Like I traveled all the way across the country. This is one of the main dishes here.
Well, out there, it's probably an extravagant,
right.
Kind of a weird thing.
From Greensboro, Alabama.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh, that'd be good. But anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys in the next segment. If you have your thoughts on what your master's dinner would be, I'd love to hear it. But, I just wanted to share that because Charles can just take anything and make gold out of it.
Charles and Nick Faldo.
But I love the line. That's the only way you could bleep up bacon. That's great. Well, let's head to the break here. I think I've gone long again. It seems to be a theme today, but we're going to come back and we're going to continue on this. And I'd love to take your phone calls here on the Coach James Hale Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Lock it in and rip the knob off. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has turned up the power.
I'm getting an off-cheese spot, Captain.
From Port St. Joe to Panama City to Fort Walton Beach, the biggest sports signal in the Panhandle.
If I push it any harder, the whole thing will blow.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog in the morning, and then sunshine. Partly sunny Saturday and hot around 78. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Looking for the most romantic night out in Panama City? Ferrucci Ristorante is your destination for authentic Italian cuisine and unforgettable moments. The candlelight, the wine, the homemade pasta. It's like a little slice of Italy. From handcrafted sauces to centuries-old recipes, Ferrucci brings true Italian flavor to every plate. It's where love stories begin and anniversaries are celebrated. To reserve your table, call 850-913-9131. Ferrucci Ristorante, Panama City's most romantic escape.
I don't always talk to Alabama fans, but when I do, I ask for large fries. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show. Jeremy was showing me something in the break that if there's a way you can go out and research it, it's hysterical. We were talking about the Masters, obviously, with the Champions Dinner, but it was a Western Michigan?
Minor league game in Western Michigan where the announcers, in honor of the Masters, called the half inning in the spirit of calling the Masters, with the music in the background, and they nailed it.
It was fantastic. He was even cracking himself up, but it was hysterical.
It's out there.
It's definitely one of those things that is worth the look.
The creativity that I don't have.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. You know, it kind of got me to thinking, just it was kind of a free-for-all here in this last segment. Again, if you want to call or text us, 215-6290, 215-6290. But, we talked about, the Masters being kind of one of those things that, even if you're not all that into golf, you always kind of check in with it. There's a lot of people who don't really watch horses race much, but they're going to check out the Derby. Are there some things, Jeremy, kind of like that to you that it's just, you may not really be that into the sport overall, but they're kind of can't-miss events for you?
Kentucky Derby, definitely one of those. I don't follow horse racing, but the spectacle of that, the pageantry around it, when everybody sings My Old Kentucky Home. And kind of the same way with the Belmont, when they all sing New York, New York.
Yes.
I mean, it has that same sort of feel where, My Old Kentucky Home with the Derby is very sort of reverent, but it's a party when they start
raucous
singing,
in New York.
Start spreading the news here. So there is that for sure. The Masters is one of those. I don't follow golf closely. Wimbledon. Wimbledon can kind of take on that, one, because they're playing on the grass. Mm-hmm. Two, it's the dead of summer and there's not much, on the sports calendar. The All-Star Game, the spectacle around that, even as it's changed, I don't like I wish they go back to wearing their old uniforms and things like that kind of just showed the nature of but those showcase type of events. Now I don't watch much of the NBA, but I will watch the NBA finals, and I think part of that the NBA season never seems to end.
That's true.
It just doesn't.
That's true.
I mean, you're still in June playing, and the preseason starts the day after the season's over.
Well, and now look, I mean, it used to be bad enough when half of the league got in, but now they've extended it with these play-in games, and now literally 2/3 of the league is going on, and you have all the load management of the players sitting out. So you never knew who's going to be playing on any given night. It has cheapened the regular season in much the way college basketball. I don't look forward to the regular season anymore. The tournament is obviously a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. The World Cup, I don't watch soccer.
Yeah.
But, when we get to the World Cup final, I'll typically just tune that in just to see, because it sort of honor the game that is, football. So there are those sort of pieces on the calendar that I think I know, a lot of folks watch the Super Bowl and they don't watch any other football game. I watch a lot of football, so I can't say that. But the Derby, the Belmont, All-Star Game, those are probably ones. We're gonna make sure we watch the Masters.
That's excellent. And I was thinking about the Derby because I always catch the Derby, and surprising enough to people who've listened to me on the show before, I never bet on the Derby. I enjoy my sports betting occasionally. I don't do it online, by the way, but I love when I'm at a casino doing this, that, or the other. I just don't feel like I know horse racing well enough.
Come on, Glue Factory.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you the thing that always amazes me about the Derby. I will watch 5 hours of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
That race is 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. Yeah.
It is amazing.
I'll pull my kids in.
I laugh at myself every year doing it.
You're going to watch these 3 minutes.
Yes. It is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Just the amount of lead time I will spend watching them.
And part of it with the Derby, and really just the whole Triple Crown, which I was, we had this longest drought when I was growing up between Triple Crown winners before we had one. And so there was always that piece too, when someone would win two, the horse would win two legs.
It's always more interesting.
And then you'd get to the Test of Champions, and finally you had your first Triple Crown winner, and it was like, wow, okay, this can happen, because will there be another Triple Crown winner? It was just that long.
And ironically, I think it hurt horse racing the next 2 or 3 years.
It did, yeah.
Because you don't have that want, for American
Greatness.
Pharaoh finally breaking through, because you'd have so many so close. Big Brown was close.
Yes.
Funny Side was close. Like it was so many that were right there.
And because those
Barbaro, there's a couple others.
And they only get that one shot.
That's it.
That's it. That's the really sort of spectacle around this.
Yeah.
Is, the line between being a great horse and horsing immortality.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, think about it, though. That's the thing. We know Man of War. We know Citation. We all know Secretariat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know those names.
Yeah.
Secretariat ran before I was born.
Right.
Actually, all 3 of those ran before I was born.
And that footage of Secretariat running.
Unbelievable.
And being able to put it now in real time against other horses. And it just,
It's just absolutely incredible. And just, there's something just Americana about a horse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. There's horses all over the world, but it's just something American about it.
Yeah.
It's the expanse to the west and the freedom. And
I've heard others talking about, we're consumed with football here, but the Rose Bowl draws that same sort of crowd. I don't watch any other, and having been a few times, Pasadena loves their Rose Bowl more than they love college football.
Yes.
It is the Masters equivalent.
Yes.
In how they handle it. They could be outside the playoff and not really care.
Yeah.
They love their Rose Bowl.
Yes.
And treat it that way.
Yeah.
And if you've never made that trip, it's
It's another one that's part of a whole event. The game is the culmination of a week's long of events.
The B2 flyover. There's just these things that are cemented that when we leave the Rose Bowl after watching that, and then you go to the Sugar Bowl, great game.
Yeah.
But you can tell the difference.
Yeah, it's not the same.
We're indoors in New Orleans late on New Year's night or whatever night it is.
I feel the same way I love auto racing in general. I'm not
Indy 500.
I'm not as big on NASCAR as I used to be. I'll pay attention here and there.
Daytona,
I do love Formula One, but I never miss the Indy 500.
Yeah.
And that's another one. I will watch 4 hours of pre-race before I get to that. Now, at least that one's a couple hours, but I love the Indy 500. I will on the tertiary keep up with open wheel racing, but that may be the only race I watch from beginning
Daytona
to end.
I'll watch.
Yeah.
Pretty early, and I think part of that was it's Daytona close by. 2, there's still this sort of Dale Earnhardt piece that just kind of hangs over Daytona.
It does.
It's with all that's happened there. So, but beyond that, I really don't get into the series and the points and those things. But,
it's an odd thing. I've always thought too. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week when it comes to the Masters. Our sports ethos is so designed to end of the season. Like in a lot of things internationally, it's about the whole season championship, whereas we're more. End of the season gets you in this tournament run. So a lot of our big sports are based on the end. But if you look at golf, the Masters is the first major.
Right.
If you look at the Daytona 500.
And it doesn't rotate.
That's right.
That's the other.
Oh, that's why the Masters is so big, because you're going back to the same place.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know that course. I've never walked on it. I've peered over the fence at it.
Oh, I got to go one
year.
Did you? So, and strangely enough, I was on 6. I think it was par 3, and we were sitting there in the stands and just watching everybody's approach. And Lee Corso comes and sits down beside me.
How about that?
And so we're sitting there by Corso, and during the time we could kind of talk as the players were making their way up. I just kind of whispered in his ear. I said, "Coach, you couldn't get any better tickets than this." And I'll never forget what he said. He leaned in and he said, "We're all nobodies here."
That is a perfect answer. Oh, my gosh. I love it. Well, we got about a minute to go, Jeremy. I always love being in here with you on Thursday. Tell us again what's going on at First United Methodist
Come see
Church.
us at First United Methodist Church, Panama City, 8:15, 9:30, 10:45 Sunday morning. Check us out on Facebook. Love to see you.
Absolutely right. Well, Randy, again, thank you very much. Great show this morning. Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson coming up at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and then old Feinbaum's going to take over after that at 6 p.m. Want to thank absolutely all of our sponsors who make this possible. To all of our people calling and texting. Mike, loved hearing from you again this morning. It was a fantastic thing. Be careful out there, and look, I'm going to be back in here tomorrow. I got to fend off the Buckeye boys one more time this week. But please make sure you listen to us. Go out and support our sponsors. And we will be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., to do this thing again. Coach Hale back next week. You've been listening to the Coach James Hale Show.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Not counting play-in games, the notable NBA playoff matchups are set. It's been a rough year for the NBA. I know, it has. Too many three-point shots, stars missing games, an embarrassing tanking epidemic. Do they love the game or their legacies? I'm not sure.
The Herd. Weekdays 2 to 4. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Anna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 77 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and mostly clear skies tonight.